got a chance to see ISS, International Space Station, baby. Get my thoughts right now. All right, we're back to talk about some movies. Got a chance to see ISS tonight. That stands for the International Space Station. It is a thriller. It is a contained film on a low-budget scale. So let's get into it. But before we do, make sure to like and subscribe. I am trying to grow the channel out to at least 5,000 people. So let's get it done. I really appreciate your help in doing so. My name is Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to look at this film from a filmmaker perspective and see how we do. All right, so this movie is definitely a thriller. It's contained. It's on low budget, and by low budget I mean $13 million, which is low. You know, so it's pretty incredible that we got a sci-fi movie for that budget. That's something along that budget is more along the horror budget range, maybe even drama. And of course, the reason being that it's so low is that you had no-name actors in here. You literally had no-name actors, so there was really no above-the-line costs for this. The only recognizable people that you had was Ariana DeBose, who plays Asha's voice in Wish. She also was in West Side Story. She was probably the best part of West Side Story than the remake. And she's done some other. She's had some pretty good. She was in Hamilton, so obviously she's a singer. So, you know, she definitely has had a very decent career up to this point. But nobody knows who she is, man. I saw the name up there, and I was just like, no clue. Not a clue. So we only had 6 people in this entire film. 6 people. And again, that's how you're able to keep the cost down. So if you're budding writers out there, this is the kind of film that you would have to write where people would actually take notice of you. When I first moved to Los Angeles, you know, I had my superhero comics and like that, and they said, nobody's going to hire to do this stuff. You got to write something smaller. And I wrote something small, and they said, no, write something smaller. To the point where I had, 7 characters in a warehouse, and they're like, this is it. And then Sean Connery's son ended up optioning it. So it never got made, but it was optioned. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So Ariana is one of 3 American astronauts. So you also had Chris Messina, who was recently in True Story with Kaley Cuoco, if you haven't seen that. But he's done the pilot stuff. But again, not a household name. He's not an A-lister. He's not even really a B-lister. These are all C-listers. And John Gallagher, Masha Makova, and Costa Ronan, who was in Endgame, not the Avengers Endgame, but Endgame, the TV show, and Pailu Asbak. So there's your 6 actors. So you have 3 Russians and 3 Americans, and they really picked Russian actors to play the part. These guys always play like Russian bad guys and things to that effect. Masha, I'm not that familiar with, but I thought she was a standout in this film. Of all the actors, she was the standout. So I'm going to look more into her and see what she's done in the past. But it's a thriller. Again, it all takes place on a space station, so they had to build out the entire space station. And it could only be shot in a certain way because you were all claustrophobic. And, the set designer had to match the actual ISS. And then, of course, the costume designer. So there really wasn't any thinking out of the box here. So the only thing that was out of the box was the acting and the script. And this is a what if. What if you had these 6 people that were on the space station when there was a nuclear war between Russia and America. And each one of them gets because they have separate monitors, one's in Russian and one's in English, and I almost said American. And they each get these emails or whatever else. It's not really an email, it's just this straight text line message that says that we're at war with Russia. You need to take over the space station with any means necessary. And the Russians got exactly the same message, but they don't know it. So they're all acting weird to one another because they don't want to accidentally say something. Meanwhile, they need to get their own team away from them to be able to communicate. And you also had Chris Messina's character and Masha Makova's character, who are a big height difference, by the way. They're dating, if you want to call it that, on the ship or on the space station. So they have a love affair, and he goes out to fix something, and of course things all go awry. And then you have them, are they going to pick each other off, and all this other stuff, and they know each other for years, so there's that friendship that gets in the way of their duty. And some of them remain loyal and some of them don't, and then we have the crazy effect where, what if I can't get off the ship? Where am I going to go? Are we going to be able to get? Then on top of that, supposedly the space station is descending onto Earth, so they have a certain amount of time to fix that. That doesn't play as much a role as I would have liked. But the effects in it, I have no complaints on the effects. And on top of that, they were in zero gravity the entire time. So they're literally hung from wires, etc., inside the set throughout the entire film. At $13 million, I'm going to guess that this was a 25-day shoot. That's just a guess. I'm sure it was not over 30. But they probably got paid additional money for rehearsals, because they had to rehearse with the wires before they actually went into it. So the actors probably got paid for that as well. And that's why the $13 million number is really not unheard of for something to that effect, because there was probably a lot of rehearsals that went on. And then, of course, the whole set had to be done, and then there was effect shots and all this other stuff. So I think that $13 million number is pretty decent for what was here. Of course, none of that money really got to cast, because the cast are all C-listers, so you didn't have anybody getting paid $20 million for the film. And that's how these things get done. However, we see that the movie's making no money. So it won a whole bunch of awards and stuff to that effect, but it's making no money. Your director has, her name is Gabriella Cowperthwaite? Cowperthwaite? Whatever that means. She's produced 8 things. She's directed probably the same. She probably wrote she's a writer-producer. So whatever she writes, she produces her own stuff. Nothing I've heard of. This is the only movie that on her list that I've even noticed. As far as the writer, his name is Nick Shafir, and let's see what he's done. So again, if you're a budding writer or a low-budget producer, this is the movie to go to see. Something that's very, very contained. Oh my God, this is his first film. And you know what? I have no problem with it. The writing is decent. I wouldn't say it really kept you on the edge of your seat, but it kept the movie along. It didn't overstay its welcome either. So when you think it's going to end, it ends. When you're finally starting to feel like there's nothing more you can do here, man. I wish it would have wrapped up a little bit better. I almost wish it had a darker tone than what it really did, because it could have gotten even darker. And I probably would have taken it darker, even though as an audience member, I didn't want to see any of these people get hurt because I like them for the most part. And one of the one guy that I thought was going to be the dark one wasn't, and so yeah. And then Masha's character. I don't want to do any spoilers because you want to see it for yourself, because that's my job here, is to say yeah go see it, and then let's talk about it after. So I suggest seeing it. It's not going to blow your socks off. It's not going to win any awards. It's probably, I see that it's won some awards in Tribeca and stuff like that, but I'm from the film festival side. For a $13 million film, the fact that it even hit the theaters is amazing, right? Normally that's a direct to streaming type of situation because you don't have actors that'll pull it. So, but on a $13 million basis, they probably spent barely anything in advertising on this, maybe $5 million. So now you're up to $18 million. So 18 times 2 is 36. It needs to make about, I would say 36 to 50 million, right? So let's see how it does. Right now it's not like $3 or $4 million. It's like not even close. Not even close. I saw that Aquaman, finally about to break 400 million. But that's already hitting streaming too, so who knows? Well, that's it for me. I don't want to talk too long on this, especially when I can't find any pictures even to put up there. There are literally no pictures on the internet of this film. So that's why I had to grab just pictures of the actors and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to give me a thumbs up and like and subscribe. Share it if you can. Again, I'm trying to grow the channel out, and I need some help doing that. Also, at the end of the month, which is only like 10 days away, I'm going to be launching the Late Pledge for Lords of L.A., which is my vampire mob set in 1950s comic book. Some of the other things that I've written are behind me. Plus, Mark Spears and I are launching a card game with his classic monster art. It is a deck builder area control if you're a gamer out there. It's going to be lots of fun. And I'm looking forward to getting that out to everybody. So we'll be launching that probably in the end of March, beginning of April. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out some other videos as well, and I will see you guys on the flip side. If you see the movie, let me know what you thought of it, and have a good one. All right, bye-bye.